It's race day for the ChampCar iRacing Series at Lime Rock Park. 5 right turns, 1 left turn. This is a track that looks deceptively simple, but provides a challenge across 1.46 miles of racing. We are live with HJBC to bring you coverage of the ChampCar Endurance Series' iRacing Championship. This is a great way to race with your teammates, race with your friends, become accustomed to the circuits that the ChampCar Endurance Series goes to, and also to win some great prizes. I'm David Haynes with Devin Peters and Michael Derby as we bring you this live coverage. It looks absolutely beautiful out there, Devin.
I was thinking dangerous, Haynes. It seems dangerous to put this many cars on such a little track, but we're going to do it today, and I think it's going to be a wonderful experiment and a great preview of ChampCar's visit in just a month or so in the real world. I'm excited to see what our drivers get into today.
We've got a great season of racing this year in the ChampCar iRacing Series. This is round 6 of 12. So it's coming towards a little bit of a crunch time in that way.
Michael Polisek narrowly avoiding a crunch time there. It's our fastest qualifier and our championship leader right now. But he can still end up facing the wrong way when you're pushing this hard.
And this is how the racing is going to look as well, you imagine. Very closely stacked together for the Mazda MX-5 field. One of 3 cars that we're going to be using on rotation this season.
Yeah, it's the third race of the year with the Mazda MX-5s. We got them kind of stacked towards the first half of the season, and I think they're a fan favorite for a good reason. You know, nothing better than a Miata race, even if it's a Friday or a Saturday, doesn't matter. Even on a Wednesday.
Byron Hayes second in qualifying times at the moment, just after Michael Polisek. A little bit of traffic makes way through the double right-hander that opens up the lap here at Lime Rock Park. Long-standing and historic venue. And again, one of 12 that we will be going to this year. All began at Road Atlanta. And of course, one of the world's favourite racetracks, Daytona, and then Phillip Island, Watkins Glen International. We were at Sebring last time, 2 weeks ago. Now Lime Rock Park, VIR next time, and Mount Panorama Bathurst, Mid-Ohio, Adelaide Street Circuit, Road America, and Circuit of the Americas for 2026. Devin, here's what we're racing for.
Yeah, lots of big prizes on offer. The points champion will take home 2,000 champ bucks, which ought to be enough to get you behind the drive or the wheel of a race car for a weekend. Then, because not all of us can be, virtual Sennas, we also have the champ bucks draws for just showing up. So if you show up to 4 races in a row, the first 4, the next 4, or the last 4, then you too can be entered into a draw for 250 champ bucks, and that can go towards racing with the series. And then if you're more of a team driver, and we're all team drivers in the ChampCar series, you can win 150 bucks per race to win in the endurance season, and another 400 champ bucks for winning the season-long points prize in the endurance series. So lots of different ways to win, lots of different reasons to race, and plenty of good people to do your racing with, Haynes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're getting towards race start not too long ago. It's beautiful scenery around here at Lime Rock Park, Connecticut. That I believe is one of something like 12 gnomes around the circuit. I think every flag stand has its own gnome. I mean, I might be out of the loop. I wasn't aware that gnomes in Connecticut were so closely tied together. But
it's a Scandinavian
apparently.
thing. Yeah. I got some of that Nordic heritage. Emphasis on the north part of it. Up here in Canada. But the gnome thing, real strong.
Okay, and then what is it in Florida that makes them put plastic flamingos out? Is that like related but different?
Yeah, it's like it's a crocodile thing. They like crocodiles down there, so they do weird things to show off for the crocodiles. The gnomes will steal your keys. And the crocodiles will make you the flamingos. Yeah. I don't know. They're pretty far away. I don't have that much cultural insight on them. They're closer to you than to me. Coming up on the end of qualifying.
Right now, we've got 28 drivers who have set qualifying times. The fastest of them is Michael Polasek. Lap times underneath a minute here at Lime Rock Park. His best time, 56.695. It kind of looks more like ARCA at Daytona type of a number for a lap time. But it's ChampCar iRacing Series at Lime Rock Park. 1.4 miles, but very, very beautiful around here. And again, got to guard your keys from being stolen by gnomes, apparently. That's the checkered flag waving. And it doesn't take too long before everyone comes around. Michael Polasek from Byron Hayes, from Jared Collins, Michael Chase, and Ryan Puchtel. Any names that stand out to me? Or maybe Ray Lombardi of the Netherlands, or Jeffrey Davis, apparently, of Antarctica.
Everyone's wondering where the leading Canadian in the race is today. Brian Tidd's performance at the last round hasn't quite qualified or transferred over to qualifying here. He's 57.6, which is only good for 24th place. But I figure he just wants to be in 24th place because he's like a Jeff Gordon fan or something. And that's why he's gone and qualified like that. But you'll see him out there leading the Canucks to the green flag from the back of the pack.
Today we are racing on what iRacing calls the classic configuration. That means no chicanes, so the track remains open and sweeping. Let's look at that full grid order ahead of a 1 hour race. So Michael Polasek was not usurped, but the margins are tiny. Byron Hayes in second, Jared Collins in third, and Michael Chase in fourth. Ryan Puchtel in fifth, and Alex Harrison in sixth. Ian Giebler in seventh, Andy Kosick in eighth, David Martin ninth, and Andrew Huggins 10th. 11th on the grid will be Kyle Robertson and Ryan Carwile in 12th. in 13th, Jack Stodola 14th. There's Ray Lombardi in 15th, Tim Wyer in 16th, Jeffrey Davis in 17th, Stephen Stodder in 18th, Kevin Collins 19th, and Cameron Senhauser 20th. Bowie Sewin 21st, TJ Yankee 22nd, Logan Senhauser 23rd, Brian Tidd 24th, James Helbling 25th, Steve Hammets 26th, John Nicholford 27th, and Cindy Pickett was the last driver to set a qualifying time. After that, it's going to be Dennis Federation, Kyle Shook, and Chris Jennings, 31 Mazda MX-5s. At Lime Rock Park, they'll get maybe a couple hundred feet of racetrack to themselves, and there is Lime Rock Park's rather compact pit lane just alongside there. Getting in and out of the pit lane cleanly is always a critical part of endurance racing. Getting all of your service done, everyone's going to need to take some fuel because they're all starting on the same fixed setup with 4.3 gallons of fuel on board. They're going to need more to get to the end of this 60-minute race. Championship standings are becoming pretty important with all of those prizes that we mentioned. And at the moment, Lincoln Fox leads the standings. Jared Collins and Ryan Pucktel just 1 point apart. Michael Chase, Kyle Robertson, Ryan Carwile, Aaron Brown, Ian Giebler, David Martin, and Cameron Senhauser is the top 10. But just off that graphic is Michael Polasek on 100 points. He's only done 2 of 5 races so far. Jaws Music, he is approaching, and our top 3 need to beware. He's on pole today. In just one corner of the pace car, the iRacing sedan will pull in, the green flag will wave, and Michael Polasek and Byron Hayes on the front row will lead us down towards turn 1. It's overcast, moderate temperatures in the air, but the track remains very hot. There goes the pace car. And here goes the pole sitter with a green flag, 60 minutes, 3 wide, heading down towards sweeping turn 1. Lee Martin looking to the inside there, but no worries for Michael Polasek or Jared Collins. Byron Hayes drops back into 3rd as 28 cars see the green flag.
It got 3 wide and 4 wide at the back of the pack there for just a moment on the way into turn 1, but they're starting to filter out. Racing around here at Lime Rock Park is often a single file affair, but not after the drop of the green flag. And you'll see them going 2 wide up the hill here. Definitely not the fastest way, but certainly an exciting way to make your way around.
Nearly wheels in the air coming over the crest of the hill, and can be blind of what's happening on the exit. So we've worked our way through there, and it's 1 lap completed already. Big compression going into the final corner. Grips up the car as you turn in, but it's so easy to wash wide on the exit. Michael Polasek leads us, but I think that's some of the Senhausers trying to make some moves. Kyle Robertson's already made 2 spots. Jeffrey Davis has already made 5. Stephen Stodder's made up a spot, as well as the field goes on to lap 2.
Yeah, and every single car pointing the right way. That's a great success here at Lime Rock Park, where the racing can be fierce with such a tight track. It's hard to make a pass happen unless you got a lot of pace differential. And when they're all in the same cars, there's not usually that big of a difference.
There's that hill, and then underneath the bridge, down the hill, turning into the final corner. And that's where you just got to be careful of digging up the dirt on the final corner. You see cars spin there quite often. Get in too hot, try to keep your foot in the throttle, and then you hit the dust. with some steering angle on and the car loops around. New fastest lap of the race, underneath 1 minute from Michael Polasek as he begins to stretch away a little bit from Byron Hayes, Jared Collins and Michael Chase. While this is a small track, it's very free-flowing and the average speed is quite high.
Yeah, it's, especially in a car with this little power, you know, it's really something that allows you to be foot to the floor and just lifting and then scrubbing. You'll see a little tap of the brakes to get the car settled and turning in, but that's about it. And I'd be nervous if I was these guys in 2nd through 5th place. You don't want to be letting Michael Polasek get away from you. So I think they're racing as hard as they can, and we see that in the background. That was looked like Ian Giebler all 4 tires off on the exit of the final turn there.
Then behind him, looks like Huggins just ahead of Davis and Carwile. Brian Tidd has just gone around at turn 1 there. So he's now the last driver on track.
And the last Canadian, first to last.
So this is one of the Sennhausers. Is that Logan Sennhauser? Oh.
Ooh. Yeah, I think Tidd and kind of got together with Sennhauser and ended up going the wrong way there. But either way, the laps continue on. Big runoff in turn 1, and both cars continue on.
2 laps in a row. Byron Hayes is the fastest car on track, but there's some action behind him. Ryan Carwile side by side with Jeffrey Davis. Carwile's in the orange and burgundy. Oh, Andy Cossack's Most Mint car, very easy to spot here as well, as he is door-to-door with Andrew Huggins. So that's Huggins side by side with Cossack, Davis side by side with Carwile, checking up the pack. Kyle Robertson gets away. Huggins will now get away. Carwile on the inside of Cossack heading up the hill. Cossack washes a little bit wide. Jeffrey Davis is next to try to get to the inside. And right-hand side of the road, the place to be in these consecutive right-hand corners. Andy Cossack losing his momentum, losing a couple of spots. That's the character of the racing here at Lime Rock Park.
Oh, I just had a flashback to rookies there when David Martin's Chick-fil-A car blinked for a second. Big run here up the middle from Tim Wire. He's going to take it 3 wide for just a second, gain a spot. We got another one piling up the inside there. Who's that? That's Ray Lombardi. Oh, lots of action here, Haynes.
For the proud Dutchman. But Dodder, I think they're in the light blue. Cameron Sennhauser in the dark blue alongside TJ Yankee as they head into the right-hander here. Yankee's on the inside. Oh, but there's a lot of momentum being carried around the outside by Cameron Sennhauser. He's just going to stay ahead. Lead change here, I think. Michael Polasek, did he have a problem out the final corner? Here comes Byron Hayes into the lead, followed by Jared Collins. Michael Chase trying to go around the outside, now trying to duck back underneath through this double right-hander. Polasek's going to hold on to second place, but a new race leader out front is Byron Hayes. Is this Michael Polasek playing a long game, or did he have a mistake?
It looked to me like this was the long game coming out. Polasek knows better than anyone that the pit stop here in the ChampCar iRacing Series matters a lot. And I think he might have been thinking that he could break away in the early phase of the race. But once that breakaway was kind of evaporating, you know, you have to adjust your strategy. And that's what this looks like to me here. Now, that being said, this doesn't seem like a track where you can do a lot of fuel saving. So I'll be really intrigued to see if he can do enough fuel saving to justify the loss of track position around a track that's notoriously hard to pass at. Speaking of, we got Ryan Pucktel looking up the inside trying to make a move on Alex Harrison. And that's for 5th and 6th place they're fighting over right now. It looks like Pucktel's going to get it done. The best passing opportunity on the track there at turn 1.
Ryan Pucktel, one of the drivers in the top 3 of the points. And that is going to be Jeffrey Davis alongside Kyle Robertson. Robertson in black and green. Jeffrey Davis in red and black and yellow.
It feels really good. Yeah, I said there's only one really good passing spot, but you can get it done at turn 4. And it feels really good when you make that move at turn 4. Get just enough momentum through the left-hander at 3 and carry it out.
So it's a group of 7 up front, now that we've had Michael Polasek drop back to second place. And then there's a big group around here at 8th place. Ryan Carwile leading Jeffrey Davis, leading Kyle Robertson. Martin and Huggins and Lee Martin.
Yeah, and you know, you got to think the rhythm is just starting to sit in. We're 9 minutes into this race, and these drivers are 9 laps into this race, and you know, the first few, you can kind of really get comfortable, start banging in some fast laps, but eventually these guys are going to make a mistake because that hypnotism of this track just starts to get you when you race it.
Yeah, I was about to say that we are on lap 10 with a predicted 45 more to go, and I feel like I'm in a washing machine going round and round at the moment, or as the Germans call it, a Waschmaschine. Creative.
That's a German creativity, you know.
Ryan Pucktel's just gone a tiny bit wide there, and that's what you're doing. You're trying to maximise every little part of the racetrack, getting right up towards the white lines, but then when you go the wrong side of them, oh, you lose a 10th here, you lose a 10th there. But around this many corners, not many of them with not many braking zones, it is all about taking every inch to just get half a 10th per lap, cumulatively across getting every single corner just right. Yeah,
well, and you know, it's part of what makes this such a perfect school track, you know, the natural home of the Skip Barber. You get so many chances at the corners in a short session that you can just iterate and iterate and iterate and do it a little better each time. And Pucktel got it really right that time there. Has almost got a little bit of a run on Chase ahead. But we were watching the practice before the qualifying got going, and there was 0.08 of a second separating first from third, and just a few thousandths separating first from second. So it's a track where the margins are really, really fine all the time. Get to see it on board here with Pucktel this time around. Touch the grass on the outside of turn 1, turns into that apex and jumps the inside curb. Don't want too much of the second one because you want to get the power down. Don't want to touch the outside curb for the same reason. Oh, and he gets a little wrong in the braking zone. And this is going to cost him a few tenths, which is forever at a track like this.
Yeah, it walks him out wide through the left-hander, which compromises his entry to the right-hander, which puts Alex Harrison all over his rear bumper. Heading up the hill, the car gets so light on the exit there, and it's pretty flat through this next corner. You get the reverse effect from the elevation coming into the final corner. The car has lots of grip right there before it then goes away from you as the track flattens out on the exit.
You saw Michael Chase looking a little bit threatening up ahead. He was peeking out at the car of Jared Collins just ahead of him, that Cheetos car. And the trick there is when you peek out to put some pressure, well, you're giving up momentum if you take that line into the corner. So you can't peek out for long because just that little loss of momentum, all of a sudden you won't have a chance of making a pass in a few corners.
So the top 7 goes from Byron Hayes in the race lead to Ian Giebler in 7th. These were some of our fastest qualifying drivers, and they remain in line. And then here's the next group. Jeffrey Davis up 9 spots so far in this race to 8th and leading this group around. Ryan Carwile right with him, and Kyle Robertson, David Martin and Andrew Huggins.
And in terms of outright pace, only a couple tenths difference between these guys and the guys in the lead pack, but the lap or two of battling that this group has done has just separated them 5 seconds back of the lead pack. Though the lead pack just did a little battling of their own. I think I saw a move from Byron Hayes there. He was getting a little...
Yeah, so Byron Hayes has gone back 2 spots here. Polasek and Collins have gone forward into 1st and 2nd place. So that's Byron Hayes going from the lead back 2 spots.
You know what? And I went back and checked the replay. That was a bit of a lift from Byron. A little bit of insight for the folks who might not have iRacing on their computer. The simulator just dropped a fuel calculator into the UI boxes, and so I wonder if these guys are seeing the impact of no draft versus draft on their mileage. Oh my gosh, Byron Hayes got really wide there.
And Alex Harrison's also alongside Ryan Puchtel trying to pick up a spot there. So we've got to work this out as Chase will drop in behind Byron Hayes. Ryan Puchtel, I think, is just going to stay ahead of Alex Harrison. So all of that to do not a lot.
Yep, shuffled them up a little bit and they keep on racing. Looked for a second like Collins might be getting the breakaway, but through the last couple corners, it doesn't look like Polasek's going to allow that. They're already weaving down the straights, though. Someone tell them there's 45 minutes left.
Well, I think Jared Collins is seeing the pace, knows what kind of pace he can do, and he might want to get out of here. So it's his turn leading the field. Half a second ahead of Michael Polasek, and then Byron Hayes. He was aiming and angling to break the slipstream down the front straight. Over the last 3 or 4 laps, the second pack has been quicker. Jeffrey Davis has gone from about 6.5 seconds behind the race lead to 5.9. And he's got Ryan Carwile right behind him, but it's going to take a lot to catch that leading group.
Yeah, I need a little bit more of a fight going on in that front pack to really have a chance at it.
Is that a Phoenix?
Yeah, I was going to say strong livery on the car there. But I also wonder if these guys are going to start noticing the leaders weaving off to the side ahead of them and start mimicking that.
Just a little bit of a gap to David Martin behind them now. A couple of extra car lengths, and that's sort of the margins we're working with at Lime Rock Park. The whole field so close. Huggins, Robertson, Lee Martin, Tim Wire, Ray Lombardi and Jack Stadola is still that group. It looks like they've dropped Steven Stodder just a little bit. And then Cameron Sennhauser is battling with Andy Kosick.
Kosick must have had a moment at some point, a few laps back, to fall this far off the group.
And your race leader, his dad is in 24th place. So Jared Collins first, Kevin Collins in 24th. Here he is behind James Helbling and John Nicholford.
That might become relevant in a little bit here. Short laps, lots of chances for lap traffic. And
So
those guys are definitely battling.
Jared Collins is almost doing this, 0.6 of a second. The the top 7 have just opened up a little bit more space between each other than they had before. Collins again just says hello to both sides of the racetrack down the Samposi Straight. If they ever name something after me, they can call it the David Haynes Drive, because that's what I loved doing.
David Haynes Drive, eh? Would be a solid. Surprised you don't get more straightaways named after streets. Like, why isn't this the Samposi Parkway or something?
In Oran Park, Australia, there is a street that's full name is The Straightaway, and it's where the front straight of Oran Park Raceway used to be. But there's also, I think, Brock Drive, and yep, he sure did love to do that. So still 0.6 of a second from Jared Collins to Michael Polasek. What Jared Collins is looking for here is about 1 second, because until that point, Michael Polasek gets a little bit of assistance every time they're on full throttle, slipstreaming between these fast, high-speed corners.
I'm enjoying the contrast between the two lines for them through 2, 3, and 4. Collins preferring the wider, sweeping, kind of more traditional line, and Polasek really brute forcing it. Shortest possible path between the corners. Oh, gets all 4 tires off on the exit, but maybe carries a little bit of speed. And when they come back around, it's 0.4 this time. So maybe there's something to that shortest path stuff. A little bit more.
Partly cloudy day, so the sun's coming and going behind the clouds, and I think I just noticed as the field went into turn 1 that sun came back out. That's what's keeping the track temperatures toasty.
Yep, hot day out there. Will be interesting. I gotta imagine that this is a left front kind of track. If you're thinking about tires at the pit stop, it could be 10 minutes away from one of those. But also got to wonder what doing 1, maybe 2 tires is going to do to the balance of the car if you decide to go with left sides or something like that. Have it on pretty good authority that a lot of the cars that race around here run quasi-oval setups, figuring that 6 of 7 corners being rights gets you, makes sense to have something that's set up like it's designed to turn right.
There's our lead group destroying some of the beautiful turf at Lime Rock Park. Collins, Polasek, and Byron Hayes all running a little bit wide, and it brings 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th all together. Jared Collins still trying to evade them. Not working just yet.
Yeah, and they're getting closer and closer together. And you got to think that if pit stops are approaching, you might start to see a little bit more jockeying for position. You definitely want to be the first one to enter the pit lane when the time comes.
And at Lime Rock Park, there are 35 pit stalls, so everyone gets their own. And the pit lane speed limit is 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, a slow cruise compared to what they're doing out here.
Michael Chase is so wide that Ryan Puchtel is going to have to pass him down the front straight.
Yeah, and Chase is going to lose another one here as Harrison pokes his nose up the inside. Door gets closed, though. Harrison's trying to put down the power, but can't quite get it there. Don't have enough pink racing cars showing up to amateur endurance racing. You know, someone should really get on that.
We need a team that's formed of Hasbro Mattel employees in their time off.
There you go.
You ever think about the fact that that company has lawyers whose job is to enforce their sole and exclusive use of the trademark monopoly?
Makes sense. Wild. Monopoly on monopoly, eh?
So this top 7 just spacing out a tiny bit, but it's compressing in the next group. Jeffrey Davis from Ryan Carwile, Andrew Huggins and David Martin. You could scarcely fit another car in there. They are sort of nose to bumper. Kyle Robertson running wide out of turn 4. Drops a car length further back off of that with Lee Martin behind him. Tim Wire, Ray Lombardi and Jack Stadola.
Now, another consideration for the fans out there is the pit lane entry for this track comes up very early on the straight. They go 2 wides, of course, as I start to share that with you. That's Andrew Huggins slipping up the inside. But it's very early after the final turn, so you kind of have to give up some speed at the apex of the final turn in order to make it all the way to the right-hand side and make that entry safely. Really slow pit lane, like we were just saying. So you do need to have a little bit of a gap to the guy behind you in order to make that entry safely. And it'll be interesting to see if any of these folks, opt to get themselves some room by dropping to the back of the little battle pack they have here. Or if anyone has to take evasive action on the way out of the corner when they decide to go. Just
the word of the
nailed.
day is schism. One is formed between the top 7 and 8th. As 8th place goes side by side, Andrew Huggins is going to look for another position with the inside into the double right-hander of 1 and 2. I think he'll get that.
So say that thing's not handled like a bulldozer. Seems to be doing pretty well out there right now.
As Davis and Carwile are going side by side, it's really cost them their momentum. So David Martin thinks he can get in here some way, somehow. So too does Kyle Robertson. No momentum for him up the hill. And the other schism is now between 4th and 5th place. So Collins, Polisek, Byron Hayes and Ryan Puchtel have a gap to Michael Chase, Alex Harrison and Ian Giebler.
I was going to say, we're about far enough in the race too where the people making lap time by abusing the tires versus the people making lap time by saving the tires are going to start to show themselves. Because you can make a lap time for a while by beating the heck out of the tires, but eventually you got to pay the bill on that. So we might be seeing a little bit of that here. It's getting real.
We've seen Lee Martin and Tim Wire come into pit. This is a deliberate and tactical decision. 27 to 28 second pit stops for both of them. Well, hello, flagman at the start-finish line. See how recently he shaved from that angle.
Ooh,
But this is where they blend out right with the race leaders on the inside of turn 1. Jared Collins, Michael Polasek, Byron Hayes and Ryan Puxtel are going to go a lap up. That's what happens at a tiny little racetrack like this.
And it's crazy. It's almost perfect how you lose just about 53 seconds going from pit lane, stopped and go on the exit, and end up right back with the group you just left.
Well, it almost bridges the gap between the top 4 and Michael Chase. If Lee Martin has gone some new tyres, or he's got a little bit of pace right now, then that will actually help Chase and Harrison and Giebler, even though you are never that excited about traffic coming out of the pit lane ahead of you.
Oh, a bit of a dive there from Harrison onto Michael Chase. Going into turn 1, there's a little contact, but the two of them are facing the right way. It's just Harrison saying, hello, I'm here. Up at the front, Jared Collins just continues to hold on.
He does. This is the leaders. I mean, Lee Martin is as quick as the race leaders after his pit stop.
Yeah.
Michael Chase, no, not as quick.
Yeah, Lee Martin is flying around out there.
David Martin and James Helbling are pitting, so is Steve Hermetz. So as we are 15 seconds away from the halfway point of this race, starting to get a couple of pit stops happen.
And some lap traffic, just a few lengths up the road from our leaders. So got to think that they'll be seeing that coming up and factoring that into their pit strategy. That being said, we've also just seen that if you take a pit stop, you're liable to come out just about right where you were on the track. So pit stop might not save you from the lap traffic.
First, second, and third in this race at the moment. A couple of other cars are going to pit just ahead of them. And you're right that if you do shape towards pit in, you've just got to lift a little through the final corner as you go. Alex Harrison comes in from 7th to see Brian Tidd, John Nicholford and Cindy Pickett also on the lane.
Harrison's a significant one. Running in that top 5.
Cameron Sennhauser and Steven Stoddart. Again, beautifully kept trees and flower beds, and that's gorgeous right there. Plenty of gnomes hiding as well. Alex Harrison is out of the lane. 27 seconds. Jared Collins is in. That's someone's front bumper with him.
That's Byron Hayes. So one-time leader Byron Hayes has gotten the pit entry wrong. We'll see it here. comes in and clangs it. And I don't even know if I could tell you what was going on there.
Reacted late to Jared Collins. Michael Polasek might have baited him as well, because Polasek faked it a little bit and then stayed out. Jared Collins' pit stop is done. Relatively clean track to blend, it seems. And ahead, and by a margin, to Michael Chase.
Well, and the good news for Hayes there is that we do have a fast repair in this series. So he lost some time by sticking it into the wall, but he won't have lost any time putting a new one on. That just pops right in. Ryan Pucktel now takes the lane from second place. And Polasek's the only one still putting laps in from the lead pack. Got Jack Stadola here on the camera, taking his stop. And it does seem like left side tires are popular around here. What do we got here? Ooh, and TJ Yankee shows you the risk of that uphill right-hander. The old layout without the chicane. Classic layout. And you can just right off the left front of your car and then you can't get the thing going again. And Jack Stadola is going to carry on.
Michael Polasek comes in from the lead of the race. He's one of just 5 drivers that hadn't stopped yet at this point. Andrew Huggins, Ryan Carwile, Kyle Robertson, and Ray Lombardi, the others. Oh, and here they come too. So that will be everyone.
Yep, Polasek's just stopped in his box. Tires coming up. And Huggins, Robertson, Carwile. And while Polasek's sitting in his box, we got Jared Collins coming down the hill. Oh, and right sides go up for Polasek. Interesting.
And this is the lead of the race right here. Coming out of pit lane, Michael Polasek behind Jared Collins, who'd really like to be a second clear by the time Polasek gets up to speed. But I don't think that is going to happen. Ryan Carwile also pitting. Andrew Huggins with a black flag on his pit speed. He's just ahead of Jack Stadola as they go through turn 2. As Collins almost got that margin. It's close. Ryan Pucktel and Michael Chase pushing each other in 3rd and 4th in the back of shot.
Oof. He's going to have to be locked in, but he does. He does have that margin. If 1 second's the magic number, that's 1.2 at the line. Polasek was the number 1 qualifier, though. And if there's anything good in those new tires, he'll use it all to try and get back in the slipstream.
Super touch and go right now. A little bit of temperature seems to have come out of the racetrack, but it's still pretty hot, and you still spend more than half of the time of the lap with steering angle in long turn 1 and 2, and then this series of corners left and then a few quick rights. 8 tenths.
That was a big lap from Polasek. Collins needs to find something. But he's still running that kind of sweeping line that I think was the reason that his tires were so sweet at the end of the stint. He'll have to tighten it up a little bit if he's going to keep Polasek behind him.
So our top 10 now that everyone's made a pit stop is Jared Collins, Michael Polasek right at his rear bumper, Ryan Puchtel and Michael Chase. Alex Harrison in 5th, Ian Giebler in 6th, Ray Lombardi leading a group in 7th of Jack Stadola and Jeffrey Davis. And then Ryan Carwile is the last driver in the top 10. He's got a bit of a group here as well. Everyone having made a pit stop, they're coming back together.
Pass for the lead, Polasek into 1. He jumps up the inside of Collins, and that's surprising to me. I don't know if Collins is trying to learn something or if Collins is trying to save some fuel. But that was a big lift, it felt. Polasek takes the lead.
Could be a bit of a mileage game in these final 22 minutes.
Well, and on a lap this short.
Oh my goodness, Andrew Huggins has another black flag.
Oh no.
Pit lane speed is 35 miles an hour, as a reminder.
That's a drama for his day.
Andrew
Might not
Huggins
turn like a bulldozer, but it slows down like one. Anyway.
Twice bitten, thrice shy, perhaps. Let's see.
As long as he's not going 35 through the final corner, I think he'll make it.
This is Ryan Carwile down the inside. A car that he is a lap apart from, I think. That would be John Nicholford.
Kyle Robertson has to take evasive action and get some dirt on the tires and exits the track one more time before getting it back on there to stay. It cost him a position, though. And our leaders have managed. Yeah, I was going to say, our leaders have managed to just barely avoid some of that traffic by having a really clean trip through the pits. But they'll get their own chance to go through some lap traffic here coming up. For such a short track, though, it's been remarkably interference-free out there.
Okay, Andrew Huggins is serving his second drive-through, but I think he might have parked it up.
Well, if he's done the math right, the requirement is 50%, but that's a bummer.
He hasn't read how the new pit lane speed limiter works.
Yes. Yeah, big changes here in Season 3 of iRacing. And that's an important one.
Lombardi in 7th, Stadola in 8th, Davis in 9th. A group of 3 of our brightest students and our biggest movers. 8 positions gained in the race for Ray Lombardi, 6 for Jack Stadola, 8 for Jeffrey Davis. They've raced their way into the top 10. And Ryan Puchtel has raced his way up towards the lead. Jared Collins and Michael Polasek have just been playing a polite game of after you. No, after you, sir. No, I really do insist. I would like to save a little bit of fuel here. Ryan Puchtel and Michael Chase have caught them.
Well, and I do have a feeling that both Puchtel and Chase have got a little bit more fuel on board. As long as the fuel guy got his gun in right away, got his tank in right away.
You've held a Hunsaker jug or two in your time.
They become guns once you hog out the vent real good. Shoot the gas out.
So our top 4 comes together. Exciting. With Alex Harrison in a bit of lonely space in 5th. Ian Giebler likewise in 6th before that next group of 3 cars, and Ryan Carwile just peacefully in 10th. Long stop from Byron Hayes after that ungainly pit entry, he then also had a long stop. So one of the drivers who was part of our top 7, one of our drivers who led laps at points, is back in 11th position and almost 20 seconds behind the race leaders.
Yeah, he'll be slicing and dicing through the field. And interesting to note, after our leaders had a lap in the 58s last time by, they've found their pace again all of a sudden with Ryan Pucktull approaching the rear bumper, and it's back down in the low 57s. But even with that, Ray Lombardi was the fastest guy last time by. And Ray's all the way down in, 7th place right now? In that Dutchman car, so there's pace all the way up and down this field, I guess is what I'm saying.
I've seen the way the Dutch celebrate Dutch King's Day. I think that was last month, and Ray Lombardi's still with us. He doesn't appear to be wearing any casts, so that's fantastic. Again, traffic around this sub-mile-and-a-half racetrack is being very, very kind to Ray Lombardi, Jack Stadola, and Jeffrey Davis.
On our leaders, we'll be hoping that the traffic is kind to them, because they're coming up on a little pack that includes James Helbling, Cindy Pickett, and eventually Andrew Huggins. So we'll see, because navigating the traffic here could be the difference with only 18 minutes or so remaining. 16 even. And an ominous little cloud covers the track for us.
Here in Connecticut and all these other, places up towards New England, it's same deal for Michigan, but it looks absolutely lovely. Green, beautiful trees. We're in the shadow and the shade here, but you can see the sunlight kissing the hilltops in the distance. Fantastic. Our top 4 are 7 seconds clear of 5th place, so it looks like, barring catastrophe, today's winner is probably going to be one of these 4 drivers. For Jared Collins or Ryan Pucktull, a win would put them into the lead of the championship. For Michael Polasek, it would continue his string of domination and make 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, those wins matter a lot in the ChampCar series. With 3 drop weeks on the season, you got to make sure that the ones that you count, they really count. And with the big money on the line, you want to make the most of it. And they're 2 wide ahead of him as they approach. Jared Collins now coming up the uphill turn there at 5. Cindy Pickett and James Helbling just ahead. Which way do you go? Looks like the inside. It's a scary place to be if you're Cindy, but she does a good job of keeping it steady.
Bit of a bump draft between the leaders there as everyone was on a slightly compromised line. Ryan Pucktull has a whole lot of momentum and he shoots to the inside alongside Michael Polasek. Can he complete this pass, this attempt of an overtake?
Ooh. Slides a bit at the apex and loses some speed, and Michael Chase now is going to get one on him. And I think a little bit more forgiving in the left-hander at 3. And if Chase slams the door there, I think he gets it, but he doesn't. And so on the exit, he slides a little bit. And now both of them are going to lose some time on Michael Chase here, or Michael Polasek. And I think Pucktull opted to drop into line and push, recognizing that there's more traffic ahead.
So Collins leading Polisek trying to stay stuck to his bumper. They get past. Could drive a wedge between them and Michael Chase and Ryan Pucktel.
Yeah, you don't want it. You don't want it in the first sector here. The lap traffic, that is. It could be a barrier, but Helbling's running nice lines. Not compromising third and fourth yet.
One of those tracks where the less you try to go fast, the smoother you are, the faster you go. Michael Chase is right behind there. Him and Ryan Pucktel will get to the right-hand side of the racetrack. Seems there's about 0.8 of a second between them and Collins and Polisek, so they should be able to stay in touch.
Pucktel taking no chances. Stays in the inside lane on the way into one. Doesn't want to get run over by Helbling. Haterade car. That's a good paint job. Has what E30s crave, is the tagline. Meanwhile, Jared Collins is he's pushing out there, and you can tell. 57.289 last time by, is the fastest car on the track. But only 1,000th faster than Pucktel in fourth. Pucktel seems to fancy a go at the first turn. I think Pucktel might just like that narrower entry. There's a big bump on the curb on the inside of one, and you can kind of use it to toss the car, get it rotating. And they're going to be too wide again as we get to the bottom chicane. Looks like maybe a lift after a mistake from Michael Chase. Going to see if that pace from Pucktel was real, and if Pucktel can drive him back up to the rear bumper of Polisek.
It's just about 10 minutes to go, and it could still be anyone's game in our top four. First and second had the shortest pit stops, took the least fuel, and they've been playing a little bit of savings. Could allow Pucktel and Chase to close in, and then it's all about who can be quickest on that final lap, but making overtakes is difficult. There's so much momentum around this place.
Yeah. Well, and even as those guys are battling, there's a few other battles out on track that are getting spicy as the laps come down. We'll keep an eye on those for you and shout them out. I was enjoying for a moment the likes of Andy Cossack chasing down Logan Sennhauser and Steven Stoddard. We might get to see those on the big screen before the end of the race, though, as they are near the tail end of the lead lap. Minty wheels versus minty car versus all white on the front. We'll have to see which configuration is best, Haynes.
First minty fresh breath. This is Lombardi, Stadola, and Jeffrey Davis, so a little more space has opened up between all of them. And then up front, Jared Collins, Michael Polisek, Ryan Pucktel, Michael Chase.
Yeah, a little less.
Nothing to
room
separate
there.
your leaders.
Yeah, I was going to say a little less room. Pucktel does have some pace in hand, it looks like. 56.999 last time by. Makes him the only guy in the 56s on the track. And
now
moving.
we're side by side. Michael Polisek looking for the race lead from Jared Collins, who yields. And with about 9 laps to go, Polisek leads. Jared Collins doesn't fight the issue just yet, which is interesting to see. And then there's Parktel, who looks racy in third.
I think that was a reasonable move. That's you don't want to be caught on the wrong side of the track with Pucktel bearing down on you like that. If you're in Colin's shoes, but you got to be really sure that you can make something happen back with Polasek, because giving Polasek the lead at this phase of the race is dangerous. We've seen him drive away.
Ryan Carwile and Byron Hayes are fighting for the final spot inside the top 10. Byron Hayes was down in 11th. He's up in 10th now. Certainly had the pace to lead earlier in the race, but it becomes about your tyre management and how much fuel you've got left at this stage of the race.
Let's see if Byron Hayes can make it any farther up. There are a few cars in spitting distance. 3 seconds more up the road. But he's been quick through this phase.
Carwile with the inside of 1 and 2. Big swooping line into 3.
Oh, quality stuff.
And by turn 4, I think the inside line wins, because the next 3 corners are right-handers as well.
Byron wants to press the issue, but you're kind of seeing that eventually you run out of steam when you're in that outside line.
Lombardi with a bit of traffic in 7th place. I think Davis has gotten past Stodola just behind. Lombardi will take this opportunity to try to put a little bit more space between himself and his rivals.
Making their way past Cindy Pickett, a lap down. And I'm looking at the lap counter, and it's starting to waver. Is it 6 to go? Is it 5 to go? And I think that might be a significant question for some of these guys at the front, because they're giving up some time to Michael Chase in the background here. And we know that Pucktel had a slightly longer stop.
I know what you're thinking. In all that racing action, is it 5 laps to go or 6 laps to go? Well, the question you've got to ask yourself is, are you feeling lucky, Punk?
I think Pucktel's got to be feeling lucky. You know? He's in the position to push the pace here.
You're listening to famous movie quotes butchered by David Haynes in the ChampCar iRacing series, because this is our top 3 with just 5 minutes to go at Lime Rock Park. A compact racetrack, but by no means a slow one. Lots of fast corners here, high average speeds for the Mazda MX-5. And can you begin to maybe now predict how many laps there are to go? I would feel pretty confident in saying 5.
Ish. Yeah, 5. Not done yet, though. There's still some lap traffic up the road. There's still 5 laps to go. And there's still 3 guys that want it real bad today. All 3 of them with their name in contention this year. Pucktel, our runner-up last season. Topolasek, our winner last season.
Well, right now it looks like these are the 3 contending for the championship. Again, if Collins wins, he's leading the championship. If Pucktel wins, he's leading the championship. And if Michael Polasek wins, he makes it 3 race wins in a row. An incredible amount of momentum behind him.
He'll be heading into the GRH6, which has been a decent car for him.
Here's Ian Giebler in 6th. Caught Alex Harrison 2/10 on the last lap. Harrison's only just up the road. And they've been running this whole second stint without much slipstream or pack racing, which was so predominant in the early half of the race. And Ray Lombardi's catching the both of them. Why not? Now here's our leading 3. Trying to break the toe or defend the inside line in towards turn 1. Big move, a sweep around the outside for Jared Collins as Michael Polisek's blue and green car stays on the inside. As Collins went that way, Pucktel's gone the other, and they'll be side by side for second place. Almost exactly what Polisek might have wanted to have seen behind. Ryan Pucktel drops back into 3rd as we begin lap 60.
So he knows how to get a little run on the last corner. What you gonna do about it, Polisek? You got something to defend with.
At this point of the race to just check, if I get a really good run out of the final corner, could I beat them to the checkered flag? This is one of those tracks where that can happen, and I think Collins might have just checked it a little bit. 2 laps to go at the line this time.
Looks like a run for Pucktel. Favors that shallow entry though, and if they leave him space, he'll take it.
Polisek slowing up there on the way into the left hand. He came out of turn 2 slow, parks it at the apex of turn 3.
This is bringing me back. This is vintage rookie Mazdas. You park it on the apex and there's not a lot of room to go on the infield. Track's dirty on the outside line.
Now, is he trying to save a lot of fuel, or is he trying to check the momentum of Jared Collins and Ryan Pucktel? Very close through the final corner. Expecting to see the white flag at Lime Rock Park. Michael Polisek needs to fight for his life from Jared Collins and Ryan Pucktel with 1.43 miles to go. They rub on the way in towards turn 1. Jared Collins versus Michael Polisek. Collins trying to find a little bit of grip left in his left side tyres to turn number 2. And then Polisek will park that inside. Again, it's 3 Mazdas in 3 Mazda lengths. And to go to the inside of turn 4, climbing all over the curb, that hasn't worked for Jared Collins. Ryan Pucktel's patience runs out. Side by side for second place. Pucktel will get in front before the turn going up the hill. Michael Polisek is now 5 or 6 car lengths clear on this final lap. Our podium duking it out. Michael Chase just in the background to pick up the crumbs as they fall. Polisek with a 1.2 second lead has played them for chumps. Ryan Pucktel ahead of Jared Collins will lead the championship when we leave Lime Rock Park, but Michael Polisek will make it 3 wins in a row on his comeback journey, aiming for back-to-back championships. Ryan Pucktel did beat Jared Collins to the line with Michael Chase in 4th.
And the little battle between Byron Hayes and Ryan Carwell is still going as they come to the line. Byron Hayes is getting a little bit of a draft as they come here to the line. Not quite enough to make it work at the end. Kyle Robertson, Lee Martin, and Tim Wire are going to cross the line. Lee Martin claims me as he crosses the line and takes the lead. David Martin and Cameron Senhouse are coming around one last time, and they'll be reaching the line in that order. David Martin holding off Cameron Senhauser. And just a few cars left to go. Bowie Sewin and Kevin Collins, they were having a battle for the last car on the lead lap in front of our leaders, and it's going to stay that order. Andy Cossack, Steven Sutter, Bowie Sewin, and Kevin Collins. That's 20 cars on the lead lap and 28 finishers on 28 starters. That's a good day at Lime Rock Park.
Incredible between our top 3, and really stout racecraft from Michael Polisek to come away with the win. Ryan Pucktel deciding, I just need to finish ahead of Jared Collins. Took away Collins' ability to contend for the race win. Both of them let Michael Polisek go, but Pucktel was able to finish ahead of Collins. And Michael Chase in 4th, Alex Harrison in 5th. Ian Giebler in 6th was just being caught by Ray Lombardi, Jeffrey Davis and Jack Stadola, and in the battle for the final top 10 spot, Ryan Carwile was able to beat Byron Hayes. Lee Martin finished 12th with Kyle Robertson and Tim Wire. David Martin, some slight technical issues today cost him a couple of spots, but then he did finish 15th ahead of Cameron Senhauser, Andy Kosick in 17th, Stephen Stoddart in 18th, Bowie Sewin in 19th, and Kevin Collins in 20th. Was the last driver to finish on the lead lap, a difficult feat around a sub 1 minute lap racetrack, the very, very compact Lime Rock Park. James Helbling in 21st. From Logan Senhauser, Brian Tidd and Steve Hermetz, the drivers 1 lap down. 2 laps down was John Nicholford and Andrew Huggins. 3 laps down for Cindy Pickett, and TJ Yankee might have been our only driver to start and retire because Dennis Federish and Carl Shook and Chris Jennings didn't start today at Lime Rock Park.
And I think I've found for you Jared Collins.
Collins, how's it going?
Hey, it was a great race out there today. Tough finish.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. I feel like I'm going to watch that one back a couple times and think what could have been. It was a really fun race, but yeah, I definitely got pretty aggressive into one, and then I tried to get aggressive where you can't really pass, and it bit me in the end. I just was trying to pull a sneak attack and catch them sleeping, and yeah, it bit me.
We were watching you with 2 or 3 to go there and thinking to ourselves, maybe he's got enough here for the draft. But yeah, it's tough racing out there, but it's impressive to keep the car as clean as you did today.
Yeah, it was really, really clean up front. Everyone raced really hard, and yeah, absolutely. I feel like I kind of thought this race would be a lot of mayhem coming in, and it was incredibly clean overall.
And a challenging one, not just for the tightness of the track and the close quarters, but also for the rhythm around this place. Were you having any trouble staying locked in the first half there?
A little bit in the first half. It's hard deciding when to go versus when to fuel save. I probably should have fuel saved longer, but once you get back in like 3rd, 4th in the pack, you start getting attacked pretty good when you're fuel saving, at least I do, and it just kind of nets trouble for me. So once I took the lead, then it was just focused on me driving, and was able to get a little bit of a rhythm, but obviously when you got people behind it, you're pushing a little hard and cooking the tires and burning more fuel.
We were kind of wondering, was there a question about how long the race was going to be?
Yeah, I definitely underfueled by a pretty wide margin. I think it was 0.15 gallons under, which is more than a lap. So I was actually clutching it in at the start-finish line every lap, trying to save. I think you run out of fuel with 0.1 gallons, and I had 0.12 when we crossed the line.
Dang. Well, impressive stuff out there. Shame you couldn't hold on to it, but an impressive race nonetheless.
Yeah, thanks very much. It was a lot of fun. See you guys at the next one. I think it's VIR next.
VIR with the GRH6.
Excellent. See you guys there.
Cheers.
Second place today was Ryan Puchtel. Ambitious late move there on Jared Collins, but it was just 1 point between you two guys coming into this round.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun last lap. Yeah, I mean, I know that Jared's a good racer, so I know I can make some pretty aggressive moves, and I know that won't crash or have any incidents. But yeah, both Michael and Jared were pretty quick today, so I'm glad I got second.
Well, it's very interesting racetrack to be so small but yet so quick. How did you find that in the early goings especially?
Yeah, the beginning was just fuel saving, so wasn't really concerned about lap time. Just wanted to stay in the draft with the guys ahead, and and then the second half of the race was just trying to push. I had that big gap between Michael and Jared, so I just wanted to close that up.
And your strategy seems like the fuel drop was relatively significant today, and we saw a lot of tire changes going on.
Yeah, I took 4 tires, so I took a lot more fuel than I had to as well. So I could have gone for a shorter pit stop and maybe taken 2 tires. But with the track temps like they're pretty hot, and I thought, let's just go with 4 tires and I hope it pays off.
Come away with second place from Lime Rock, and that's the first half of the season done.
Yeah, so far it's going a lot better than last season, I think, for me personally. So looking forward to the second half.
And then after that 4 Enduros, you're the defending team's champion. You're going to enlist an army again?
I don't know about an army, but I'm planning on being back.
Awesome. Well done today. See you next round.
Yeah, thank you.
Second place, Ryan Pucktel joining us, and the race winner is going to join Devin Peters.
I'm here with Michael Polisek. 3 races back and 3 races won. You got to be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, that was definitely a very close and very fun race. Ryan and Jared are always great to race with, and it was a very tactical race as well, of trying to save tires and fuel for both halves of the race. Well, more fuel for the first half. I was fine for the second, but I knew once Jared got out ahead of me in the pits, it was just a matter of, all right, how do I best preserve my stuff and keep up with him in order to get myself into the best position to win the race.
We heard from Jared that he had to go to some pretty advanced tactics, clutching in and rolling into the first turn. Were you having to fuel save that much?
I mean, with these cars and how long it takes to fuel them back up, any sort of fuel saving you can do saves a ridiculous amount of time, and you're draft locked anyway. You're not going to be able to pull away from anyone, so there's really no point in not fuel saving it at that point.
And it looked like, as we were watching you two racing, it looked like a big contrast in styles between you and Collins. It seemed like you were much more pointed right at the apexes, and he kind of preferred that bigger swooping line all over through the first sector in particular.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's faster, but it seems like that both lines work very well. With this car, it's just kind of weird how you drive it. You just mash the throttle and hope that the rear end rotates, and sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, and you just have to deal with the result afterwards.
Sounds like it's not your favorite. Do you prefer those front wheel drive ones, eh?
I'd say so, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be spending years driving those cars if I didn't like them.
Makes sense. Well, that's got to feel good. You put a third win on the shelf, and you're making up ground. You're coming like a freight train at Ryan Pucktel and Jared Collins, who are first and second respectively in the points championship. Any predictions? How long till we overtake them?
I don't know. I mean, they're quite quick, and the rest of the rounds are going to be very interesting. So we're just going to take it race by race, and we'll see how it plays out.
That sounds good. Any advanced tactics for VIR in that GR86 for you?
More fuel saving, I guess, and then more strategic positioning if we're still in draft after the stops. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. I've driven the GR86 at VIR and the GR Cup Esports Series, and that's always a lot of fun, and you'll get a lot of really good racing there.
Makes sense. Well, another quality one down. Looking forward to seeing how you do at the next one.
Thank you very much.
There we go, Michael Polisek, after winning at Lime Rock Park from Ryan Pucktel and Jared Collins. The championship is in such an exciting position after round 6 with 6 more to go. We get just a little bit of a summer break before the ChampCar iRacing series heads to VIR. It is never too late to join us, especially if you're racing at VIR in the ChampCar Endurance Series and you're thinking, what I need is a little bit of racing to feel out the track, keep my wits sharp. That's what the ChampCar iRacing series is for, as well as the great racing and great prizes on offer. Forum.champcar.org or the ChampCar iRacing series Discord is where you'll find all of the information, schedule, and how to join us on iRacing. We'd love to have you. Everyone has such a great time every round, and it's not too long until we get into round 7. Polasek vs Pucktel vs Jared Collins could be the way of 2026. I've been David Haynes with Devin Peters and Michael Derby, and we will catch you at VIR.